My name is Hayden Kennedy. I am from Carbondale, Colorado, United States. I like all the climbing. I think it's all quite fun, and to me the variety of climbing is really interesting. To be sport climbing one season and trying to push your level higher, and then also to go into the mountains, I think it's a cool, interesting dynamic. I like the change, and also the different styles. It keeps me more motivated. If I were just to climb in the mountains all the time, I don't know if I would be completely motivated. And if I was always sport climbing or trad climbing, maybe I wouldn't be as motivated. So the change is good for me. I'm pretty easygoing, not so much of a plan. I am not the most goal-driven climber, I must say. I don't really have, to me it's more, I just go climbing because I like to go climbing, and if I feel like going sport climbing and I have this drive, then this is what I do. And if I don't feel the drive, then I don't go sport climbing, for example. I don't know, if I want to, it's like, also I'm working, so I mean, this is also dictating my climbing as well. I have seasons where I'm only working and climbing is not so much. So this is also part of my lifestyle. For sure, I have some help with climbing, but more or less, I just enjoy doing other things besides climbing. I think this is my main choice. If I were just to climb, I would not be as passionate, maybe, So for me, taking breaks is a good thing. No, I have some help, a little bit of help, for sure, just not as much. I don't know. I mean, to me, this is just like everyone's own choice. And for me, sometimes I like working and exploring other parts of life. But, I mean, climbing is a really small part of life. If you're not open to other things, then I think you have a closed mind. I live in a van more or less all the time. Well, I don't know. I like this lifestyle. It's, for my lifestyle, it works quite well. And it's more like also, it's economical for me. It's cheaper to live in a van. He is just my dad. I never thought of my dad like this, really. My father he's my father. And I think, his spirit for climbing and life, it never to me felt like, how do I say? He just, he is who he is, and he's always been my father, so I don't know if I know anything different. He was not talking about his climbing so much, really, unless I asked him. It wasn't such a big, huge present part in my upbringing until later, until I was a little older. When I was younger, with my mom and my dad, it was more just for fun. We just go camping and go enjoy, whatever. It wasn't so much this climbing stuff until a little bit later, I think. He showed me to climb, for sure. Everything. We've sport climbed, traditional climbing. We do some walls together a long time ago, and some ice climbing as well. Yeah, for sure. Skiing. I don't know if important is the right word. I've had certain climbs at times that maybe, they affected me in a way that were different than other climbs. So, I don't know. I don't like this question so much. It already happened. Fuck it. It's gone. It's in the past. If you think about it too much, then you lose it. You lose the meaning. I mean, the climb happened. We don't need it's just I think this is it's a cool thing we had. We had a great time, but to dwell on the past is a silly thing. We might as well go and live in the present and continue on. I love traveling. It's really cool because it opens your mind. You see different cultures and different people and the way they live. And certainly traveling has been a huge part of who I am. And I think also traveling in some of these places to go alpine climbing in Asia, it really opens your mind to the rest of the world and kind of how lucky most of us are, which is, it's a special thing to see this and to hopefully internalize that we are really quite special and we're lucky. We're not special, but we are just lucky to be in our situation. Climbing it's a luxury, it's not we shouldn't treat it like this super important thing because it's not. It's more about being a good person, and when you travel and you see some poverty and you see the real world, it can make climbing seem even less important, if you know what I mean. Traveling in Mexico is amazing. I love there. I like traveling a lot in Mexico, and for me it's a great place for lots of good adventures and great food, easy people, and also good adventure. And I don't know. I mean, also traveling to Nepal and India in Asia and Pakistan has also been amazing. Spain is really, I don't know, I'd heard a lot about Spain, and to me it lived up to everything I'd heard. Really a great place. Like, I like the culture a lot, and the climbing was, I mean, over the top for me. I thought it was incredible. Depending on where you are in Europe, like for example in Slovenia, there is such a deep-rooted mountain culture, and the alpinism is very part of it's very part of Slovenian heritage, and they have a system that's built on alpinism for many years. And in America, there's not so much like this. I mean, climbing in America is, yeah, it's getting more popular, but it's still like not super mainstream. So, and I also think the approach is a little bit different. Just, you know, the American way, it's just, sometimes it's a little bit more, I don't know how you say, like, sometimes the American way is a little bit more loose, if this makes sense. The American way is like, maybe not so structured, because we don't have a structure for alpinism. We don't have, like, you know what I'm saying? I don't know if I explain it so well. Like, I believe in the climbing in the U.S., like, many people don't know the history of U.S. climbing, and they might be climbers. You know what I mean? Like, they don't know, like, who was climbing in the 60s and the 70s and the 80s. Like, it's not part of, like, it's not really as much part of the culture as it is here. I think social media is complete bullshit. I think it's stupid. To me, I don't know. I must say I'm not so impressed with the climbing, with not just the climbing media, but also just the media in general. It's hard because, I don't know, it seems to me people are losing the connection with just being with people. You know what I mean? Like, whatever happened to just go and have a coffee or have a beer and just enjoy this life without these phones and the cameras and all this different stuff. And the need to, like, always tell somebody, like, to tell the world what you're doing, I think it's creating these false images within ourselves. So I think, to me, it's a little bit of a strange thing. I don't know. But again, it's not really, like, it's not up to me. So, and I don't have it, so this is fine for me. And if people enjoy it, then they can enjoy it. So, because you can only judge yourself. So if they like it, then good for them. Yes, I do feel very similar to how I felt 4 years ago in 2012. Things have changed for me also a lot since then. I think Seratoria has come to grow on me. You know, it's sometimes these things take time to process in your own head, and I feel very similar about it as I did, but I think now I maybe have a little bit more of a, I don't know, I have more of an understanding of kind of, you know, why we did it, and I also can understand kind of some of the other side as well. I would still do, for sure. I don't know, I stand by what we did. I think it was a really spontaneous decision, but I think in life, sometimes those are the best. And to me, I wouldn't change anything. This is also one of these things that, you know, people have, there's lots of controversy, lots of debate, and people can have strong emotions about this stuff, and they can let the emotions maybe overtake them. And this is the case on both sides of the story of Seratoria. But ultimately, Patagonia climbing, it seems to me like people are climbing on Seratoria a lot now and having a great experiences climbing on the Torre, either on the west face or now also on the southeast ridge. People are climbing quite a lot. So to me, this is cool. It's special to see people climbing and enjoying the routes and having a good time. So I don't know if I don't think changed my life is such a, that's like quite a large statement. It certainly affected my life, but I think changed it. I don't know if I would go so far. No, it was hard for me to have the people be quite angry and quite, you know, outwardly against something that you did, and not only just maybe against your action, but then all of a sudden attacking you as a person. Yeah, this was hard. I'd never been through something like this, so I think this was more of the issues for me than the climbing. we can talk a lot about it. I mean, but to me, this is an old story. I mean, I don't know why people talk about it so much. Like, there's not much more to say, I don't think, really.
Yeah.
Like, what else can we say? It doesn't matter, really. Like, this is the point of the climbing. I mean, fuck it. Like, he did what he did, and we did what we did, and life goes on. So, you know, like, people can just point the finger and think about it as long as they want, but it still doesn't change. It's still just going to be what it's going to be. So, I don't know. I'm quite conflicted. I just think, ultimately, like, there's no reason to really not like it, because it's just an event that is, you know, it's great. We're here in France, and we're eating good food and drinking wine, so what is there not to like, right? We're not, you know, living in the third world, so ultimately speaking, it's really fine. But I also am not so sure, like, about, I don't know. I just think that it's hard to make climbing, hard to make it so a big deal. To me, it seems strange. I feel more insecure about being in front of a camera, so, and being, like, people asking me how important it was or how you feel about this and that. To me, it makes me a bit insecure, so maybe this is why I have reservations about the Pied d'Or.